Howdy friends, I'm Mark Lee Morrison, and this is the 43rd episode of Low Profile. On this episode, guest host Eli Moore returns to speak with Jeff Johnson of the Canadian indie band OK Vancouver OK. The project has been consistently cranking out a stream of primarily self-released albums since 2005, and their efforts are hard to classify in terms of genre, but they're clearly experimental, socially conscious, and family-friendly. Their latest record at the time of this episode's release is entitled Never Perfect, which is what you're hearing now and can find on their website, okvancouverok.ca. Jeff discusses his band's origins as a solo project in Vancouver, BC, the situations that inform his songwriting and recording process, and bringing his children on tour. Their drummer, Laura House, who's also Jeff's wife, joins in the conversation to talk about the present danger of food deserts. If you like the show and want to hear more, you can find all previous episodes archived at lowprofilepodcast.com. Low Profile receives in-kind support from San Francisco Street Bakery in Olympia, Washington, and generous financial support from listeners like you, giving flexible monthly donations at patreon.com/lowprofile. Before I play you the interview, here's a song from OK Vancouver OK called Collection of Changes from their 2014 album Influences, produced by the homie Eli Moore.
Slowly starting to stay up late again, running low on ideas of how to sell out. Get out, 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 being behind bars, being in this body, something like a cell made of cells that sells every part of me. Just outside, all laid out, like a new uniform already played out. And the winter's here, a newborn moving in, a collection of space. Collection of changes, collection of changes, collection of changes, collection of changes.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Eli.
Welcome to Low Profile.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for having me.
Where are you right now?
I'm in Winlaw, BC. So I'm in the Kootenays. I'm about 3 hours north of Spokane for the anyone who's interested.
Is that as the crow flies? Or
Yeah, as the crow flies, on the Crow's Nest Highway. I live in a trailer. I'm in the living room. It's a nice layout. The walls are mostly white. There's a ceiling fan and record player. Nice big window behind me where I can gaze at some pretty large pine trees, ponderosa pines, my woodshed, the neighbor's house off in the distance a little bit, not too far, maybe 50 yards away, and mountains through all the windows.
we're friends. We've known each other for a long time, and I was excited to be able to talk to you. I was looking at your, kind of refreshing myself on your history as OK Vancouver OK, which is your band, and it looks like this band has existed for 17 years.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today.
Does it feel like it's the same thing as it did when it started, in some way?
Not as when it started, no, because when it started, it was just me, mostly. And with, if when I started playing live shows, then there would be different people playing with me all the time. Never really the same cast and crew. And then when I met with Laura, that became a more permanent player. And then Liza, that was a few years with Liza. So that was nice when it became more like a band that I could count on to meet up with, once a week or something to just
because it's an interesting band name, and I also think that it tells a lot about the band. I was going to see if you could tell me the origin of the band name, which I think seems to tie pretty closely into the origin of the band itself and kind of maybe some of the creative impulses behind the project.
Well, the band name was mostly an accident. It was just, I took it from a song lyric, and the song was called OK Vancouver OK, and in the song I say OK Vancouver OK. Basically, I got invited to play what was the first show, and it didn't have a name yet, and that's just what I went with because I was a little bit nervous, and it kind of gave me a confidence, I guess, to name it and try to perform some of the songs, and it was kind of like, okay, let's try it.
Okay, Vancouver. Okay. Keep moving, keep learning, keep changing, keep stuck, keep on
And my audience was going to be in Vancouver, so that's why that name could have been anywhere if I was living somewhere else.
You were talking to your audience. The band name is you.
Talking to the audience. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yep. My process at that time was, I had my 4-track cassette player, tape recorder, and then maybe I'd sit down and record something that was whatever, something. And then the next day I would listen to it and make something on track 2. I wasn't practicing. I would just add to it. Collage of sounds, and maybe in the middle of the night wake up again and punch in somewhere and express a feeling. And I think that feeling on that track was, okay, Vancouver, okay. I couldn't tell you what I was thinking about, but maybe I was just expressing my feelings in that time.
What album is that, or is that on it? Okay,
that's on the Balcony. Yeah, okay. The first album.
So, were you in bands at the time?
No, I was not in any bands or anything. No, I met this kid about my age, I guess, in the hometown where I grew up, Chilliwack, and I don't think I had ever met him before, but he was saying he was looking for a roommate in Vancouver. He found a place, and I said, hey, I'll do that. I want to move back to the city again. I'm going to ride my bike around the city at night and film the city. So that was part of the OK Vancouver OK idea as well. It was not just the music, but I was going to film it.
Yeah, you showed me some of that stuff. It's like maybe a music video or just a short film, I guess, from your
that era. A little later, I did end up meeting a person who could help me kind of move that stuff off the camcorder and make a little movie. And then I put one of the songs, OK Vancouver OK, titled songs, to some of that camcorder footage. Yeah.
Yeah, that period, I'm curious about it. There's a specific emotion that I can't put my finger on, or that I can't put a word to, that I feel with a lot of your music. The feeling maybe in the end of I've Been Since I've Been, a song from Food, Shelter, Water. That feeling, and then the ambient. Yeah, there's a. Do you know what that feeling is?
Well, I guess like for me, and still after 17 years, I don't ever feel like I'm an artist who gets recognized by the inner world, or I don't know, the outer world. Like there was a guy named Jeff Johnson who played a show in a venue in Vancouver, and people were like, "Oh, you're playing a show? Oh no, that's not me. But I should go." So I went to that show. I just busk outside a little bit because I thought that was humorous. Make a couple bucks playing outside the Jeff Johnson show. I went in later to the show, and then there was a hardcore band playing. I went on stage. Actually, it's a funny memory because I had my acoustic guitar, and I went on stage with the band, and mid like growly roar, the singer looked at the drummer, and they both kind of just shrugged. I loved that moment. I was headbanging. And
that kind of that's you. That's your career in a way. Is that's music. You know, your career's a bad word for what we do.
I'm just trying to be. I'm trying to be involved with the world, but yeah, I guess I don't really know what my place is.
So I guess maybe just to go back a little bit, you mentioned that you're from Chilliwack. That's a town that's maybe an hour east of Vancouver.
Yeah, like I grew up in a smaller town, Yarrow, but yeah, in the same district.
How does your childhood connect to OK Vancouver, OK music?
I remember dancing to music in my parents' living room, but my parents didn't really listen to music. See, they had a record player with about 10 records. Couldn't tell you which ones they were really, but I saw a band perform at high school. That inspired me to get my first guitar. I got my first guitar when I was 18. And after school, I took two lessons with a music teacher, Mr. Charlie. But it taught me a little bit about fingering and where notes were. And after that, I just taught myself. So I was about 19 or 20 at that time. And then played in a band briefly. I took a break from writing songs for a while, and I did some like just self-travel, hitchhiking around down into the United States, down into California. I really wasn't thinking much about making music for a few years. I was more interested in seeing more of the world anytime I could. So if I'd get a part-time job, I'd save up some money, and then I would pick a place that I wanted to go to see. I'd bring my guitar with me on those trips. I remember now. Maybe there'd be an open mic, and I'd try to, play something that I was noodling around with. So
you traveled a lot, and you and your family have toured a lot, more than most bands. I would say, especially in terms of geography covered. But how does that? What is touring to you, and how does it feed into your process, and how is it different from recording and writing?
Well, touring is important for me because it keeps me fresh. It helps me to... I don't like to think I've been to a place and that I know that place. I've been there once, or I want to go back and see it again. I want to see how it's changed. We don't practice a set. We don't go into any show ever playing like with the same mindset. As a band, or when I play solo, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna feel what it feels like on when I walk up on that stage, or just moments before. How do people feel, like a DJ would do when you're gonna play the next song, and then I can feel that, and then I hope to involve myself in that room with everybody and make it an experience that will make people feel good. That's the idea.
Let's go live in a cabin. We can build it however. Maybe we can raise children. We'll eat food from our garden finally.
Have you had any experiences where it felt good to bring displeasure to the audience?
Well, sure. It's all happening right then. A show that comes to mind right now is I started off a set doing an a cappella song, and the bartender said they didn't want me to play anymore because it was known as a hardcore venue. And so I threw the mic on the ground when they tried to pull me off the stage, and the bouncers had to take me out. Yeah.
Where was that?
Or that was in Vancouver. Yeah, Funky Winker Beans.
That kind of reminds me. I don't know if this will make it into the show, but I feel like you need to tell the monkey costume story.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Love it. I've told many people this story.
Well, for me, I was a kid. I started working when I was about 8. I had 2 paper routes, and I was always taught, stick with one job, and then work your way up, this kind of thing. But when people start treating you bad at your job, the boss or the manager or the boss's son or somebody, and I had this job at a bakery, and I was the morning baker. And the boss was like, a bit pervy, slapping my butt when I'm pulling out the muffins, and I was thinking, I'm gonna, they're usually there a couple of hours, and I need to make a little money at the time, so. Well, anyways, I was having also a hard time with a relationship, and I guess you could say I got pretty, down. And there was this monkey suit that I had been lugging around with me, and it zipped up, had a tail, and the hat, pull overhead, and all this. I just decided I'm wearing that monkey suit now. Like, I don't care. I'm just wearing the monkey suit. That's my life. I'm the monkey guy. So I went to work that morning. I had slept in the monkey suit, woke up, went to work in the monkey suit, locked up my bike, went into work, and I started baking the muffins. And my coworkers, they thought it was pretty fun. And anyways, the boss came in. But, this is a situation. It's the boss's son, right? That's my boss. The owner's son. Anyways, he comes in and he's like, "What are you doing?" "What do you mean?" "I'm baking muffins." "Well, you're wearing a monkey suit." "Yeah." And I had this beautiful apron on as well. I loved it. My look was real good. And it was really busy that morning, so the boss would go back out front and try to help at the till and this kind of thing. Come back. "Are you telling me you don't have anything under that?" No, I just wear the monkey suit now. So he goes away, he comes back again. "Well, you're going to have to decide. It's either the job or the monkey suit." And I was like, "Well, I don't have a choice, right? Because I wear the monkey suit now." So I just grabbed my stuff, and I said bye to my coworkers. "Hey, I got to go. I'm out of here." Got on my bike. I had this huge chain at that time, for my bike. Huge, thick chain, like bagels. Had that around my neck, ran through downtown Alberni Street. Yeah, how was your day? Oh, it was pretty good. I got fired for wearing the monkey suit.
Thank you. You're married to Laura House, your drummer, and
Yep.
you guys tour, very DIY with 2 kids, and I think a lot of people find inspiration from that. I've done a little bit of touring with you guys and played in the band, and we played up very far north in British Columbia one time, and
Yeah.
the kids just kind of, they just kind of hang around. Walter was probably a year, and Henry was probably
But
5. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe 1.
but I wanted you to talk a little bit about DIY touring with basically as a family unit. With kids.
Well, I mean, for our family, which includes Chris Jan in this case, Uncle Jan, as Henry and we call her.
Your bass player, Christiane, of KMVP, the band.
KMVP
is her project. Yeah.
Yeah, that's her project, and Bash Brothers before that. I don't know. It just seems to it just fits. People take on different roles. Every day is different, but in the van, I mean, most of the time I'm doing the driving. But everyone can drive, but I enjoy the driving, and then the van is kind of like a living room. There's a bit of a bed and a couch, and there's a sunroof, and lots of singing or reading books if we need to, or screeching or screaming, whatever. Get out of the van, just go for a run, or going for a swim, pulling over and going for a swim. Henry's first tour, he had to, if he had to go to the bathroom, got to pull over and hold him and let him go take a poop on the side of the road. Yeah, and there'd be touring in Canada. I mean, you could have an 8-hour or more drive till your next show.
At least.
Yeah. Yeah, but our mindset is like, we made a record, now we got to tour it, and this is what we love to do. We love to be together and play shows. So it just seems to work. And at the show, maybe like Chris Jan and I will be the people who are bringing in the gear, setting up the stage, and Laura, she really likes to set up the merch. She really puts a lot of pride into the right size of the table, because we have a lot of merch. Laura makes a lot of her own merch as well and sells that. She does those vagina bags that are very popular. She silk screens them herself. She builds the silk screen. She's really like a person in the group who likes to talk with the showgoers, where I'm usually more focused on just making sure I got all of my equipment in order, and that nothing's broken and all that kind of stuff. That's my thing. And Chris Jan, maybe at this time she'll be taking care of Henry and Walter, and maybe they go for a walk, maybe they go get food, maybe they go buy some beers.
Do the kids like being on tour with you, or do they kind of dread it?
I mean, at this time, they don't know it any other way. Mm-hmm. A long drive isn't long for these kids, though. If we have to drive back to Vancouver to see Grandpa and Grandma, or anything like that. They know it's 3 mountain passes. And we're not like throwing an iPad in front of their face either. It's like, I always say to Henry, man, it's all happening outside. You know, it's all happening outside. You look out the window, it's all happening. I try to say, hey, like, look at this. We've been down this road before, never looked like this. Look at those leaves, yellow and red and brown.
You talk a lot about visuals and how that inspires you, and I wanted to touch a little bit on your path also simultaneously as a painter.
Sure. I just did some painting yesterday. It was awesome.
What do you get out of painting?
Well, I mean, my technique is put on some music that I want to listen to or something I've never heard. And then it's like, it's a bottle of wine or, you know, some beer, and just let go. And just totally let go. If that means my fingers are going in the paint, or I liked something one day and now I'm going to go right over it, I can do that. Just I never have to worry, and there's no one there usually with me. It's like kind of maybe more like recording, but I'm just, the lighting's right, the music's nice. I'm in like a happy place. I love it. And the colors, I love picking bright colors, and just blending those colors. When a paintbrush has like 3 colors on it and I do a stroke across and it looks beautiful, I'm like, this painting is done. You know, and I didn't even mean for that to happen. I have no technique, really. I mean, I'm just like squirting paint and putting it on my, you know, putting on my clothes or whatever. Like, if it's a nice color.
Yeah, I've noticed paint on your pants a couple times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I tend to now, I use more of a towel to wipe it on. I don't know if that's just me.
You should pull out that old apron that you had. Well,
you know what I want to do is I want to frame. Yeah, I don't have that apron, the one from the monkey suit. Yeah, I don't have that one anymore. It was really nice green with little flowers on it, little mauve flowers. It's basically, I just want like all my towels that I wipe paint on. I want to frame those one day.
Your painting came to my attention around the same time as I think we started getting really close, which was when you were on tour.
Yeah.
I saw you in Olympia. You guys were playing in a basement, you know, for a few people, but it was the first time I saw you play with a band, and this was with Laura. And
okay.
The first time I met Laura, I think it was actually her birthday. Your wife. I think you had already been married, in fact. But you were touring for an album that really got me and Markley, who Markley, everybody knows Markley from Low Profile.
Yeah, hi Markley. Hi Markley.
We were so excited about this album, Escape the Common People. And
I was so surprised that people liked that. Yeah. I
don't know if it was something about. I don't know if you see it the same way, because I liked your previous music a lot, and it brought me to an emotional place that I really relate to. But Escape the Common People was like a party, and there was a song that you guys played at that show that might be your biggest hit. I'm not sure, but in terms of, at least between me and Mark, but it's called Nature. Yeah. Have you ever heard of anarcho-primitivism?
No, I'm hearing the word, I'm thinking about it, but I haven't heard of it before. No.
Well, the thing that I thought was especially interesting was this idea that when we started, especially domesticating plants, that was the beginning of property ownership. When we figured out how to plant them and wait for them to grow. Before that, there was these nomadic tribes.
Yeah, you'd hunt and you'd gather, you'd move.
And if you're a hunter-gatherer and you come upon a group of people that figured out how to plant their own wheat or whatever it is, you're like, wow, look at all this wheat. Awesome. And you start eating it, and they show up and they're like, hey, that's ours, you know.
Yeah.
So that was like when the concept of this is mine, this is my land, you know, or this is my crop anyway, that was the beginning of what, you know, capitalism, you know, people were like, no, that's not just like a wild cow. That's a cow that like was born from a cow that I fed
we
for
have
its
some
whole
intent.
life.
There's some intent behind that. The reason why that's there.
And effort.
I mean, I was talking with Laura about health science and about like healthy food, and so we were paying a visit to her parents. Her parents are really cool about me setting up in their living room, my 4-track, and using their piano and doing whatever. They don't use that space, so I had set up a few things in there, and I just came up with that bass line, you know, boom, 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 and I made some kind of thing. No lyrics written really yet. And then the way I remember it was there was a conversation happening in the other room, and her parents were having a party, and it was looking a bit fancy, and there was a lot of wine and things going around, but people were having fun and talking really loud enough that they couldn't hear me in the living room, just like down the hall, going like, watch out, where's the money at? You got some? Well, that's more than most. And I was basically just like hearing their conversation and doing a response. And that's how that kind of started right there. And, yeah, you got to watch out. Someone wants more than you, like the person beside you. And that could have been me walking in the room and, like, filling up my wine glass. I don't even remember. It was just like I had that feeling of that. But also that relates to, I mean, in my mind, there's that famous mural I saw on the wall somewhere in, like, Ecuador. And there was a mural, and it had, like, a scale, and it had the like 3 white dudes with all this money, and the scale was down to the ground, and on the other side there was, like, you know, thousands of people, and they were, you know, so it just reminded me of that class division, and I think it came out in that at that time in that song.
Watch out! Watch out! Where's the money at? You got some? Well, that's more than most. You got some? Well, watch out! Someone wants more than you. Like the person beside you. Who's on your side? Nature! Nature! Whoa! Ow! Predominantly poor neighborhoods. There aren't any place to get healthy food. No fresh fruit. No fresh vegetables. No education about these things. And the food stamps in New York City, they only get you cold food, like chips. Watch out! Kraft Foods is killing you. Oh! What's Britain gonna do next? Poor neighborhoods, getting sicker, no healthy food. Grocery stores only go up where rich people will come. Like Choices Foods or Thrifties or Safeway, Save On Foods. What other name you got, Save On Foods? I know you're hiding out there in a rich neighborhood. Oh! Health science teaches you don't need doctors. The doctors are just catching a new body down the river. You gotta fix the pool. Oh! You need healthy food and exercise. Ask yourself, what is that? What is that? Ooh, quit your job, grow some food, save the seeds, don't need money, live with the living, live to love nature. Is there anything greater? Watch out! Where's all the money at? You got some? That's more than most. Nature wants you back. Watch out! Ask yourself, what causes you to get sick? And what does Britain want? Ooh! Still taking you over. And when you speak English, you're taking you over. Nature Nature wants you back. Woo! Watch out! Where's the money at? Someone wants it more than you. Like the person beside you. Who's on your side? Nature! Nature! Woo! Nature! Woo! There will be no resurgence of happiness with money. It is not the answer. Nature is the answer.
Once everyone in the world speaks English, which is, essentially a trend that I see happening, and have since, 10 years ago or more, then everyone can follow the same set of rules. Because, I always liked when I was traveling, if I didn't understand something, then I just did what my instincts told me to do. If there was a sign and I couldn't read it, I was fine. I would be like using my, my other 5 or 6 or 8 senses that I have. If I saw the sign and it said like "Don't go here," I might not go. That's so boring, man. And I think it makes people more
It's
complacent.
Babylon.
And just like people, I think, oh man, that's one of the freakiest things for me. Everyone in the whole world saying the same thing. Laura seems really intent on saying something.
Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to say that a lot of that song, I was going to university and I was studying health sciences, including epidemiology, which is the study of different diseases and how they, especially pandemics or infectious disease, they were kind of advocating for health promotion at that time, which meant don't eat bad foods, eat healthy foods, and then you won't get heart disease. And so everyone seemed to really be buying into this. But what I thought at that time, and what we still think now, is just that it doesn't have to be or shouldn't be an individual's responsibility to just make better life choices. That our whole world and the government and our society needs to work together. And I guess that's where the class privilege concept kind of came into it. And I feel like that song was really written by Jeff at a time when we were thinking a lot about maybe it's not fair to make individuals 100% responsible for their health outcomes when we all know that there's so much more at play for people. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Laura House. Laura E. House.
Yeah, me, Laura E. House.
I was gonna mention this a few times, but with that song, to me the line that sticks out the most is that I always remember, and the concept that I think is really important is the idea that if you're poor in America, I don't know what it's probably like this in a lot of countries, but if you have food stamps, for example, but you have no grocery stores, then the only kind of food that you're going to be able to buy is chips.
Yeah, well, that line came out of an actual experience being on tour, and we were staying with a band, and one of the members is on food stamps, and we didn't have any money. And the rule at that time, you weren't allowed to buy anything that was prepared. So, you couldn't buy a sandwich that the store had, put together, the Safeway deli might have a sandwich. You can't have that. So food stamps also, that was my first interaction with food stamps, and I was not pleased. And then since then, I've had a chance to hear other people's stories and read lots of things about how families and individuals sometimes really struggle with the food stamps. But I think if you're at a good grocery store, you could make your food stamps work really well. But that's another thing that
you can buy if you have a kitchen.
Yeah, right. But I also, where we, some of the neighborhoods we lived in are food deserts. And then also being on tour, I think you can relate to this. Sometimes you're at a venue or you're at a place and you decide, you're okay, we're going to venture out to go get something to eat. And then you realize that, like, for miles and miles around the venue, there's no where to get, like, a fresh ingredient. It's all prepackaged or expensive, and those are food deserts. And I think at that time, too, just from us not having a kitchen and not having a house, and not having a lot of money, that was really on our mind. And so I think that's probably where a lot of those lyrics were coming from. It was just trying to be healthy and trying to have a good life, but then also seeing all these barriers.
Thank you, Laura, drummer of OK Vancouver OK.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, nice to chat with you, Eli. Bye.
You too.
Isn't she wonderful?
Yes.
Yeah.
The reason why I connected Escape the Common People to your painting is because you hand-painted every single cover of that album, correct?
Yeah, I painted 240.
240.
I think I have 3 left. Yeah.
3 left, people.
I have a personal, my personal favorite, and then Laura has one, and I have another one. Yeah.
So that was kind of, from what I can tell, the beginning of you guys were beginning to become a full band, and maybe a year or even less after that, we did our first album together.
Yeah.
Right? That was about...
Yeah, Food, Shelter, Water.
2013.
2012 was
okay.
when we recorded it.
And that was your first full band album. You know, like, it was the first album that you didn't do kind of more piecemeal or as a 4-tracker, correct?
Yep, those were practice songs. First album where it was like the band, and we practiced the songs, and then we met up with you, and you were going to be the engineer.
So we rented an old Grange hall on Whidbey Island, and it went so fast. We recorded 10 songs in 2 days, I think, or maybe 3 days. Title songs, funnily enough, is also called Food, Shelter, Water.
Food, Water, Shelter, but yeah.
Food.
It's like, I just changed the words around. Look it up. Yeah.
I believe you. No, I'm not.
I knew it was annoying when I did that, but I was like, oh, I'm doing it.
That's
cool.
Know.
What do I know? I haven't read.
Maybe that's why you're still underground.
Because no one can...
moves like that, they can't Google you.
Oh, yeah, man. That's my stealth.
So that album was really, I guess it talks about food justice, kind of, or our dependence on food, you know, like the food industry versus, what is the word, being self-sufficient. Correct?
Yeah. The majority of people are, you know, very dependent on the grocery store and or in the, you know, the local farmers as well, where I live here. But you know, even the gas station, like some people don't even go to a grocery store; they just go to the gas station. A lot of people around here, because that's the closest food source. There is actually an organic grocery store stone's throw away from me too, but we're pretty lucky for that. Actually, our proximity to those kinds of foods. It's expensive, but I mean, where we live, we have to drive an hour to go to a grocery store. So sometimes you just, you know, it's nice to have options, I guess, for us. You know, we didn't expect that out here when we first moved here.
Your band started as a 4-track solo kind of project. You made two 2/2.5 albums as a full band.
Now I'm doing 8-track stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, you're recording yourself and you're playing most of the instruments on the record, but not the live band, as we've covered, is a very different thing. But it's a different art form. I wanted you to talk a little bit about the self-recording process and specifically like writing. You know, how writing as you're recording.
I can see that. I'm a parent. You're so judgmental. Here, take this job, no pay or sleep required. In the past, we moved so fast. Now time is catching up with me. I can see that. You're not a parent. No. It's no big hassle. Catch up on sleep when you feel tired. In the past, we moved so fast. Now time is catching up with me. I can see that. I'm a parent. Just hang in there. Single income rented cabin. In the past, we moved so fast. Now time is catching up with me.
For the album Shape Up that I released last year, I mean, that actually took me like 2 years to make. My time having kids and being the main caretaker of the children. Laura is the person who works for the paycheck in our family, and and we were living in a 16 by 16 one-room cabin with a loft. So to be able to even start thinking about recording something means that I need to have a little bit of time, because I have to bring out the drums. I have to, set up the mics. I have to take out the 8-track. I have to, get all the cables, get all the mic stands set up. Maybe I have to go out to the van to grab the storage of that kind of thing. And then knowing that Laura, who's taking the kids to town, is going to be back probably in about, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours if I'm really lucky. And this is my one day of the month that I'm going to have that chance. So I have to make the album. I have to make a song now. So I'm going to make it now, and and I have to like it. It has to be fun, and then I have to, it has to also be worth it. Like I'm not going to just make a song, and if it's like, why am I going to put it into the world? Like it's also got to mean something, like deep. I don't know. I have to feel it, and then I can see them coming down the hill, down the path from where they have to park the car, up on the road. That's my time, and then it's done. And then I feel like if I can work it that fast and have something that when I listen to it later, it's like that's pretty good or good enough, then I just have to work with that. So that album was like kind of all over the place a little bit, but that's what I had to work with. I was feeling a lot of pressure on myself, being that the last release, Black Part of Light, was 2016. It's been 4 years, and I've been wanting to make more songs. I love making songs. I want to make pop songs. I want to dance. I want to like wear a costume. I want to have I want to do something really fun. But for Shape Up, it was like just making what I could with that space and that place.
You're talking about recording yourself, which is probably one of my greatest interests, is home recorders, people who record themselves, especially people who record themselves as they're writing. And I think, and you're one of my heroes in that regard, as well as my wife, Ashley Erickson, who's a past guest, and Carl Blau.
Yeah.
And, numerous others, but I get the feeling that a lot of what we're hearing, if not all, of those types of albums is first takes.
A lot of it's first take. I almost rarely ever do a second take.
What about singing?
Singing, generally, I have to do more than one, maybe two, maybe 10 takes, maybe 20 takes, whatever it takes to get the sentiment or the sound of how I'm trying to express the idea correct to my mind.
And these are lyrics that have just been penned minutes before, right?
Yeah, or not penned at all. They're just in my mind, like they're just a thought that I'm working on, and then sometimes I'll just improvise through the song, the first take. When I'm just like in the moment, I'm like, the song is feeling good, I want to say something, I'm going to just press record and do my vocal take, and I'm like, okay, this is, what did I say? Oh yeah. Oh, I like that. Write that down.
Jeff, thank you so much for talking to me about your art and life, and I think we should go out on a song from your new album, Am I Good For You, from Shape Up.
Sure.
If you wait long enough, what'll happen to you? Oh yeah. And if you're bound to it, honey, well then it's bound to you. That's what they say. And if you're with it, then you're gifted. Oh yeah. That's what I say. But what are you waiting for? And will you know when it has arrived? When you work for your money to buy things to stay alive. Oh yeah, I know you do. But when you work for your money, keep your life. Don't have a clue what that I should do. I'm not happy here. I don't have a clue. Do you?
You've been listening to Low Profile with Markley Morrison, featuring returning guest host Eli Moore in an interview with the Canadian band OK Vancouver OK. Their website, okvancouverok.ca. Eli has been working on a new album with Lake. If you want to stay updated on that project, you can visit laketheband.com. You can find all the previous episodes of this program at lowprofilepodcast.com. I have one more episode coming up this season with an absolute dream guest. I'm really excited. I won't spoil the surprise for you, but I will tell you that they spent some time as a touring member of the Beach Boys. You can follow this show wherever you get podcasts if you'd like to be the first kid on your block to hear it. Catch you in the future, and thanks for listening.